We live and direct, y'all. Let's make history. Let's take history. Let's take history. Lock and load for another episode of Fie Radio, weekly program with the Black Panther Party Cubs, and also we IntellectualRadio.com. Y'all can talk with us. Call in at 708-223-8953 or 929-477-3785. You did. We'll get straight to it. Again, this is a program this week on a weekly basis, a weekly program again by the Cubs, hosted by yours truly, Chairman Fred Hampton Jr., as well as that Robin Allen, aka the Lady of Rage, y'all. Free them all. That's what it is. I see the building. Okay, we trying to up the ante with this Instagram and everything else, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Things are moving and grooving at a phenomenal speed. You know what I'm saying? Again, we attempt to provide not only summations, but you know what I'm saying, we utilize this as political education for our comrades, you know what I'm saying? Again, you know what I'm saying, just have something to be able to assess, you know, with the people in general. And this is not just a local situation in regards to Chicago or whatever, what have you, but again, in the spirit of internationalism, we expecting our brother Joseph Coles to call in. He may be calling in soon. Update regards to their daughter, Karen's daughters, Kiara Coles, the sister who, man, you probably familiar with the case in regards to she was sister who worked for the post office, but in fact was I think at the time of her abduction, you know what I'm saying, quote unquote missing, she was approximately 2 months pregnant, but in fact I think last week would have been the designated due date for her. Again, Kiara Coles, if y'all not familiar, y'all check into that, you know what I'm saying? Kiara Coles. My sister's on you, I'm recording right on. Peace right back at you, right back at you. Free them all. That's what it is, right on. G-Man, I see you in the building. I'm trying to up there on this technology. I see you, my brother. Love and respect. Yes, indeed. So our brother, her father may be calling in again. Kiara Coles. Y'all seen the post, the flyers. In fact, it was just a piece, updated piece with him on the Chicago Sun-Times a few days ago, and which again, there's no concrete developments in regards to his daughter getting, you know what I'm saying, Kiara Coles getting back. So again, we want to keep our heads up and eyes open in regards to that case. In fact, our mantra regards to that, I was saying, is find them all. You know, it's just like when we say free them all, we say find them all. You know what I'm saying? The countless amount of black women and children, particularly, you know what I'm saying, the black people that go unaccounted for. You know what I'm saying? And some people may say this is abstract conspiracy theory, but you know what I'm saying. We look at Chicago being the number one place for the ore harvesting, amongst other dynamics. You know, that when you'd be hard pressed to just designate or single out one benefactor, whether it be the organ harvesters, the foster care system, the medical, you know what I'm saying, facilities, you name it, you know what I'm saying. There are so many things at hand, and that you can look at. In addition to the fact that it's hard to pick out because our communities, I'm using that term loosely, our communities have been so destabilized. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to, you know, like it was a time we had a structure we could pick out what type of crimes they can be attributed to what race. You know, I mean, there was, you know, certain things in the black community at one time you say, oh, they ain't, black folks ain't done that. However, one of the characteristics of the fallout, one of the results of the destabilization of our communities is hard to pick out what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Who did what? You know what I'm saying? But again, you can definitely tie 99.9, in fact 100% of it, directly or indirectly, to that of the state. You know what I'm saying? Whether it be what type of individual they have created in our community, individuals who they have turned inside out, who, you know what I'm saying, that impacts the entertainment arena, the athletes, the streets. In fact, what's his name? What's the comedian's name? Oh, Flip Wilson has said something to the effect that after he had got his first $1 million, he knew he wasn't a nigga no more. He said, well, however, he didn't know what he was after that. In our communities, you know what I'm saying, you know, there are so many, it's, as Field Marshal George Jackson, the Black Panther Party, said, capitalism not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. It not only affects the economy, but it affects the psychic of the people. If, you know what I'm saying, the mutations of the structure, the individuals, you know what I'm saying? Is because one of America's policies is to create chaos and restore order in our communities, if nothing less, and nothing, at the minimum, are destabilized and chaotic. Also, oh, Brother Cars, I see you in the building. Brother Red, I see you in the building. That's what it is. You Hawking in the building. Yes, sir, my brother. Okay, we Sri Lanka. You know what I'm saying? We hear about different situations, abroad. You know what I'm saying? Whether you're talking Sri Lanka, whether you're talking about, you know what I'm saying, Afghanistan, you know what I'm saying, Africa, what have you. And a lot of time, even but on second thought, even domestically, even within the states, you'll hear certain terms and their catchphrases that are attributed to them that make you have a reactionary response, or be dismissive, or just go for the usual, you know what I'm saying, don't call for any explanation, or don't attempt to delve into, let's see what's to this here. In other words, we hear about, situations, we talk about, okay, the bombing in the churches on Easter, Sri Lanka. We hear about different situations going down in Afghanistan, Africa. And, you know what I'm saying, you hear these catchphrases or these terms, saying, terrorist or whatever, situation in Chicago, which is infamous referred to as Chirac, oh, look, man, I love you, right, black, my brother, free them all. His brother just tuned in with us, hey, man, I'm been on the battlefield with us, for quite some time. I just had a flashback on one of our war stories, which I talk about. Now, again, I just feel fortunate to have so many people, on the battlefield at one time or another with us, So again, love right black at you, my brother. Angie B, I see you in the building. That's what it is. Chiracians in the building, no doubt. He makes you you get that propaganda right on. Peace, respect, right back at y'all. We got Texas in the building. That's what it is, y'all. Right back at y'all. And we hear about the crimes and the murders in Chicago or Chirac, you hear terms like, like even gang violence, and so, so on and so forth. Queen Hollywood, I see you. I got there late last night at Robert Money's. He was literally coming out the building. I don't know if did you make it or not, because he was literally coming out the building. I get to Robert, happy birthday to Robert Money. Got there late. He coming out, and after we did the event, the repast for Mother Hoover, the mother, Brother Chairman Larry Hoover, long-held political prisoner. And after that, we went to Robert Money's thing, and he was leaving. Anyway, we ended up going to after party. So it was one thing after another, showing our respects in one way or another to the people, y'all. So it's been nonstop. Salute right back at you, my sister. Right on. Enjoy seeing you as well. Love and respect. Still shopping, and men and women shopping, men and women. It's good to touch bases, you know what I'm saying? The social media, the social media is one thing, people, some facts want to ask me one time, you talk to such and such. I said, yeah, I seen them on Facebook. I had to check myself. I said, well, wait a minute, we not, you can't, I mean, this is a tool to be used, but we can't get caught up in, to that being a dynamic on how we relate with each other. You know what I'm saying? In fact, it was something to come into contact with a lot of cats yesterday at the repast, Mother Hoover, and it was a lot of older, even cats, how they greeted each other, and even just second, it was odd to hear that. Oh, saying at the event when cats was saying, "Let me get your phone number," or such, you seen such and such. It's a more of a actual hands-on, tangible, relationship with people, as opposed to, now it impacts the psyche. Like, if, so we talk about social media, social engineering, how people react to each other, like how, in fact, in Egypt, the US admitted that how they really created certain situations, it could trigger certain situations. Talk about, the bots and the, algorithms and so on and so forth. But just that interaction with, some people, Mother Hoover's repast, people who hadn't seen in a while, but just that direct contact. And this is something like, in the funeral service, Chief Malik's mother, I recall, going there just even in some, I think it's deeper than the generational thing. It's a political situation too, because how people had this whole dynamic of the social media, and time we're gonna still be paying the price of how we have been impacted. Just even doing the social media, we still the dynamic of crack and other forms of chemical biological warfare. We still be feeling the results of that, no doubt about it. Got Mother Comrade in the building from on our advisory board in the building. Love and respect. Right on. Felicia, right on. Welcome from our radio. Phil March Tour. I see you in the building. Right on. Well, for him all. And now I'm trying to up the ante. I'm trying to y'all. Only shout out to Sister it's me and my brother, Free right black at you, my brother. Love and respect. Yes, indeed. Sister Unique, who's been struggling with me to try to up the ante with this Instagram. You know what I'm saying? We trying to up the ante because we got to use this. So we can't live in no bubbles, man. But it's a tool that we got to use. But again, let's attempt not to compromise our core of who we are, or how we relate with each other, how we deal with each other, so on and so forth. Let's struggle for that. You know what I'm saying? Again, we hope we have one of our comrades, Rasilan, call in to give us, because one of the things that we pride, when I say we, the Black Panther Party Cubs, that we pride ourselves on is we talk about these campaigns and cases. We have the direct contact, you know what I'm saying? We talk about Park, we force it directly on the ground with them. We talk about these cases, you know what I'm saying, of the missing sisters, the missing meals in our communities. We had a young sister who was, actually in the trade, you know what I'm saying? She gave her, and we had on the show, not in a judgmental or dogmatic type of elitism type of way. We invite the people to talk about what's happening there, the contradictions, and we take it from a personal perspective, however we put in this political context. In other words, because so many times, because once we start making these connections, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? Who benefits, the benefactors, and the correlations to Sri Lanka, to us in Afghanistan, Africa, so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Why is it important to have these immediate catchphrases, terrorists, gang members, so on and so forth? You know what I'm saying? What's to these dynamics? Why does imperialism need a populace of people to never investigate? You know what I'm saying? Why other places like you had, I don't know if it's the present day status in Venezuela, where people walk through the community, have conversations about the Constitution. Where you have places like in Cuba, Elian Gonzalez, you know what I'm saying? People were surprised and shocked on just how intelligent, you know what I'm saying, he was, the type of conversation that they had. You know what I'm saying? So why is it all the time, why are we in a populace? In fact, there was a dude, Bill Meyer, politically incorrect, and said that America is noted as the most dumbest apolitical populace in the world. Whatever they put on the TV, bam, that's it, that's all. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. You know what I'm saying? Queen Hollywood in the building, Field Marsh, Brother Will Crosby in the building. I see y'all right on. Respect y'all. That's what it is. No doubt about it. So we want to talk about that. Give us a heads up. We got a call. We get a Rossi on the call in. What's the dynamics? As a criminal psychologist said, the first thing that we must look for when we go to a crime scene. That's what these situations, they be crime scenes. And I know it's hard, to check our emotions as opposed to our emotions check us. His situation, our political pores are open, but for any type of, rhetoric, reactionary rhetoric, into the media to come out and put this out. This is all logic. You know what I'm saying? All logic. You know what I'm saying? So we want to. What dynamics? Who are the benefactors? What happened in Sri Lanka? Well, who are the benefactors? What's the president? You have to look at like in New York, September 11th. What are the dynamics? What was the climate like September 10th? They talk about like even the ratings of Rudolph Giuliani and U.S. President George Bush. What type of discussion was being held in regards to Africa? You know what I'm saying? And September 10th, and then September 11th, it had the whole moderation, the conversation. How was it changed? Who benefited? This is the type of, so that's what we have to look at. You know what I'm saying? So the up the ante. In Sri Lanka, what, you know what I'm saying? You look down, like, so who are the benefactors of this? And not just go for these reactionary, these terms like, terrorists, similar to like in, saying, or doing down in the South or so on and so forth. Or the Ku Klux Klan done this, just this whole, not negating they may have done it, not negating that there's, saying that there are certain individuals in our community that engage certain activities. However, who are the actual benefactors of these different contradictions? Eric Yesko, free them all right on. Welcome in, right on. Right on. Coming down, touching down with the support, and the energy, and we invite all y'all, come on out for y'allself. Come on out, make that trek, make that trip to 804 South 17th Avenue, Maywood, Illinois. Come on, see for yourself what we're doing. Support the work we're doing. Say the Hampton House. We say it's bigger than the building, more significant than the structure. Bigger than the building, more significant than the structure. So let's build up for August 30th, the upcoming Chairman Fred Streets Party. Again, August 30th. Let's build up for December the 4th, International Revolutionary Day. Which will be the 50th year after the assassinations of Chairman Fred Hampton Defense Catamar Club. People say, man, Chairman, why are you going to make a big deal about the reference as an assassination? I will rarely do this, but I'm gonna quote this slave Lil Wayne this time, y'all. The slave Lil Wayne said recently in a lyric, in fact, in regards to Nipsey Hussle, he said, "Where I come from, if you're great, you're assassinated." You know what I'm saying? And it take, and not just say great like in a subjective type of way, but like in LA, as a term referred to as a factor. And this is something that that people in the community talk about. They say, "Who was that?" There's an issue with such and such from such and such set. Well, who is it? You know what I'm saying? Well, he ain't no factor. That means like don't even put your no attention to it. You know what I'm saying? Who is it? Or it's a factor. And by all accounts, you know what I'm saying? We talking about factors, y'all. You know what I'm saying? And the deal is we have put that in this correct context. What's going down? Who is what? Again, who stands to benefit? Who stands to benefit, y'all? That's what we talking about, y'all. Save the Hampton House. We need y'all support. Y'all come on with it. Y'all get cash app. Save the Hampton House. We put the word out. Put it through the grapevine. Cornelius Chaplin, welcome. That's what it is. Right on. Right on. So now I see you in the building. That's what it is, y'all. We're trying to up the ante. So Sri Lanka, and you look at the tentacles of imperialism, and we talk about directly, indirectly, covertly, or overtly. You know what I'm saying? You look at the current climate, what's happening in different places, what type of, you know what I'm saying, and even if there are situations that occur that the different forces are not sitting down with the state per se and say, okay, this has to happen. What type of psychic? Similar to they talking about Donald Trump. They talking about it's a different climate now with Trump in office. Different climate, like you know what I'm saying, with the regular everyday, reactionary white nationalists. You know what I'm saying, what the type of activities that they're engaging in. So what type of political climate is being set? Excuse me, what's happening in Sri Lanka? You know what I'm saying? See, I eat my brother right on. Free them all. Good to see you as always, man. Right on. Free them all. Right, Black Catcher, my brother. Right on. Sylvester, always welcome. Right on. Good to see you in the building. So what? You know what I'm saying? So let's struggle to put this in correct political context. You know what I'm saying? So we hope to have Rasilan touch down with us. There's going to be an ongoing discussion. We had a climate during the Black Power movement of the '60s where the contradictions in Detroit, in Ohio, and Chicago, and so forth, they could not be discussed in an isolated type of way. In other words, as what Minister UEP Newton it says, they drew the correlation from the Army, the U.S. troops, you know what I'm saying, in occupying in Vietnam and Africa and the Philippines, so on and so forth, to the occupying army in Oakland, California, Detroit, so on and so forth. Let's up the ante. Let's draw the correlation to, you know what I'm saying, because you have a lot of these, modern day Boston Tea Parties. You know what I'm saying? For those who not hip to that, when we talk about the Boston Tea Party, who were the benefactors? You know what I'm saying? Why would the colonialists dress like the indigenous people community, the native people? You know what I'm saying? So what was at stake? You know what I'm saying? The whole thing about the later be references the original colonies, original 13 colonies. Their position was taxation without representation. Their position was they were saying, well, the crown of England is taxing them, and they're not getting represented. You just run through like come see us when you want to, come pick up the bread, tax them, but without any representation. You did. They was tripping on that. You know what I'm saying? So so you're seeing different dynamics. You know what I'm saying? Why would they come in there? Who were the benefactors of that? You know what I'm saying? And Rich in the building, we're in the building, Vegas in the building. I see y'all. That's what it is. Welcome, y'all. Hood Hope, that's what it is. Yeah, no doubt about it. Share this, real talk. Share this, put the word out. That we we live in the record. We coming in late, but we get sometimes quality time. Got to outweigh quantity time. But Sri Lanka, let's not just have a reactionary response. What's happening now? What type of discussion was happening? So policies again. Look at the history. Again, the Boston Tea Party situation. I forgot what this was. It was exposed later on in regards to some attack on McCormick Place. I think in the late '60s, and they were talking about the different sleeper cells, and it was the U.S. Initially attempted to attribute it to the Vietnamese. However, this is the propaganda that was used to intensify. They were saying that the U.S. aggression against the Vietnamese community. We look at Chicago, Chirac. We look at other colonized communities. You know what I'm saying? What's at stake here? You know what I'm saying? So we don't come on reactionary response to like people just leaving Chicago. The population is declining. That's kind of like saying the growing prison industrial complex. This is not a plant. They don't say this on its own by some natural phenomenon. Just the prison, prisons, the population is growing. You know what I'm saying? It's a strategic dynamic that's put in place. I mean, you talk about these different, where they can lay out in our communities in particular, how many children will be going to school, how many we going to, they refer to as the prison pipeline. Either they some psychics, or you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, and control of some conditions that's putting these dynamics in play. Y'all let me know what y'all feel. But again, let's look at this with a critical eye. Let's engage in critical analysis. Let's check our emotions. Don't let our emotions check us. You know what I'm saying? When they do studies on what type of terms can trigger you, what type of colors can trigger you. You know what I'm saying? You hear terms like terrorist. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that's, you know what I'm saying, conversation over with. In fact, it was a big heat. A lot of heat. What's this comedian? Got a name. I got this comedian name, and then she was and it really was a expression of the reactionary, mindset of a lot of forces. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was on a plane, and she told me, and there was some sinks. There's some sinks, SINGH. They aborted the plane, and just automatically, oh, here come the terrorists, so on and so forth. Unbeknownst to her, you know what I'm saying, you just can't throw no blanket approach attack on just different communities at different times. Now you can put it to black folks now. That, you know, I mean, as we said, we have been treated as the Rodney Dangerfields of all races. In other words, no respect. However, so the apologies came down. She was steady. She still has apologized. She ain't stopped apologizing yet. You know what I'm saying? And she ain't joking. She dead serious. 50 Cent had made some comment to a young white guy about, about mental health issues while he was boarding the plane. When that plane got down, he had that donation ready to go to that, you know what I'm saying, to not just any entity that with mental health issues, this white entity. So, so this was, so people, they say they don't relate to structure, they relate to it. You know what I'm saying? That state emphasizes that when they lay down that big law. That's what it is, y'all. Let me know. Any callers in queue to the comrade? Any callers in queue? For him all. So again, y'all, that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? We want, that's the two major things we were discussing. However, we're open for, you know what I'm saying, again, everything's political. The case of Kiara Cole, still keeping our heads up. The case of the campaign to save the Hampton House, we still need your support. Still on board. You know what I'm saying? Sri Lanka, what's happening now? You know what I'm saying? Go past the catchphrases and say, okay, wait a minute, time of this, so on and so forth. What was going on? Who are the benefactors? We look at even a lot of situations that are dismissed as natural disasters. New Orleans. Hurricane America, which we reference as Hurricane America. That we call Hurricane Katrina. We reference Hurricane America. You look at the roles of Dick Cheney and Halliburton, all of a sudden, the properties they were getting, they are obtaining right there in New Orleans. You look at all of a sudden the radio stations offering these one-way tickets up out of New Orleans, you know what I'm saying, suddenly, all of a sudden. You look at the oil reservoirs that were later exposed down there. These are dynamics that, like in so many cases, where the state moves in a proactive type of way. Again, a proactive type of way. And we are forced or subjugated to have a reactionary response. And one of the setbacks of reactionary response is we're not giving all, all the ingredients, another note too, man, Vlad TV, you don't know if you watching Vlad TV or 48 hours. I'm talking anyway. It's an old saying about the Midas touch, King Midas. They say whoever Midas touch, turn to gold. See, like whatever Vlad touch, it end up, between, we get behind bars, And I struggle myself. I said, I want the deal. I said I really want to deal with that, but can't say, because Vlad wouldn't touch me. It was a couple of times. In fact, I was going to New York one time, and they said, "Man, Champ, Vlad didn't touch you. You're not going to deal with it." And I have this issue with me, like I said, like this flirting with the fire. And you know what I'm saying? The study the dynamics of it. You know what I'm saying? And one of the reasons I've kind of been hesitant, I really, going hard about that, because Chairman Fred was saying, ain't nothing all good, nothing all bad. the dynamics of this individual, this Vlad TV, I'm talking about, it's man, you know, you look at a lot of, I'm using the term loosely, interviews. uh, it makes 48 hours look like nothing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not uncommon to hear Vlad have a conversation with an individual like and say stuff like, well, between me and you, you know what I'm saying? This when you shot such and such, you know what I'm saying? Or these different dynamics, and just even this last case, you know what I'm saying, who young Boosie, who I dig, young Boosie, who's been on there a number of different times, commentator, but we were, I mean, without even the case even being, no information being disclosed about the case, Vlad was doing an interview, a piece with Bosco, and he was just like a foregone conclusion. He said, Boosie got a weed, Boosie known to smoke weed, so and so. I'm like, hold on, man. I mean, man, but this is the stereotypical, you know what I'm saying, way. And a lot of times, in our community, there's uh it's like a catch up, like I seen some people, one brother, I forgot this brother, he called a question, and I tell people, say, well, I don't know if you know what I'm saying, you snitching, dry snitching, so on and so forth, but the politics, it puts this context. You look at the historical role that the media has played. You know what I'm saying, what type of what type of interviews, what type of misquotes. You talking about even the Chicago Defender, how it reported Marcus Garvey's death the day before he actually died. In fact, that's what, when he read about it, shocked him when he was in London. Said they had reported that he was dead. They had died. But the whole dynamics of the media, you know what I'm saying? Um, the Vlad TV cannot be negated from that. You look at, you say, whoa, is this, could you attribute it to this? He's able to interview anybody, everybody. The time, even the girl that was utilized, to the state on the case on Tupac. You said, man, here come Vlad TV. Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, I mean, can contact everybody, and this is and it's. I'm thinking back some attacks that we were subjected to to the Black Panther Party Cubs. That deficiency of inability of being able to get the word out, that was something they exploited, and that was one of the apparatuses that the counterinsurgency came at us, and saying on a number of times with just that media apparatus. And you look back at cases like Ernest Withers. Ernest Withers was the ones the individual who was not only would follow travel with Dr. King, but documented the photographs. People was responding. They was like, "Oh man, he's great. He has all the films, all the photos." You know what I'm saying? And he's able to travel. He's on time. Not negating the fact that he was allotted these resources. You know what I'm saying? By who? By the state. So again, Ernest Withers. So the role of the media, because a lot of times we talk about the counterinsurgency, like even in court like this, the whole discussion in Sri Lanka and other places. What is the media putting out? You know what I'm saying? Because we must understand in warfare, bombs as well as propaganda bombs. Again, bombs as well as propaganda bombs. Bullets is what is sugar coated bullets. Bullets is what is sugar coated bullets. So again, this you look at just even the atmosphere, how Vlad, how they set it up. You know what I'm saying? You don't see him. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this even the regular police stations, they have this. It's strategic when you come in. They bring you in. For you to sit down, and the stools, the legs of the chair is broke off, so you unbalanced. You know what I'm saying? Physically honest, and that impacts your mindset. So you focus on that. You know what I'm saying? You focus on that. And you know what I'm saying? Even you know what I'm saying? Who when they come in, isolate you. They just can't come in the community and ask you. You know what I'm saying? Among your peer group, different questions to take you, isolate you. You know what I'm saying? How you know what I'm saying? You wonder why, like a lot of these different entertainers, rappers who known to have these entourages. They come in on stage. Why don't they never have these big entourages with them when Vlad interviews them? Why would Vlad this always is by himself? You know what I'm saying? This whole so it's not just a case of this person is cold. He's cold. He doesn't get the questions about him. Like, man, it's like you talk about like even relationships. People say, man, what you see in this guy? What you seeing? All the music, the ambiance, the candlelights, everything was just perfect. You know what I'm saying? The Isley Brothers was playing. How Vlad, the control of the ambiance, the whole setting, you know what I'm saying? Come in, you by yourself, all this. So these are different. That at some point in time, you say, wait a minute, who's behind this? The benefactors of this here, so on and so forth. So again, um, it never ceases to amaze me. You know what I'm saying? The different dynamics in his position. His defense is that you don't have to answer these questions, so on and so forth. But like even the way the police ask you questions. It's like the comedian George Realborn made this joke one time. He said he got an uncle. His uncle always asks you a question, but had an answer like, where you going upstairs? He asked you a question, but he had an answer right there. So it's a certain. It's when the police ask you a lot of questions, in court, the state's attorney, they have the answers already. You know what I'm saying? They have the answers already. And this is something with Vlad TV. He goes up, it's a sidetrack, and it goes this whole dynamic. You're like, okay, what's the focus? I thought we talking about my new song, my new release finna come out. How do you know about this other? How's your other child's mother doing? You know what I'm saying? That you say, well, where does this come from? So these are different dynamics. You say, wait, what's to the community, the black community? What's regards hip hop that this dude, this entity was studied to the point that he does. You know what I'm saying? Again, everything. Repeat, everything. Better yet, everything. Everything is political, y'all. It's right. We live and direct, y'all. So again, type in, let us know any questions or comments y'all got. Input y'all want. Things we touching on. We still waiting on the call from Rossi Lines. We can go more in depth. Sri Lanka, what's happening now? What's the climate like? What's type of discussion, the history of it, population, who was colonized by? We we do this for a number of reasons, but in particular to really let the people know that we get our communities are pregnant with potential. There's so much information out there that that a lot of us, we ain't got to go to Wikipedia. We got people out there that directly on it. And as the Black Panther Party said, information is raw material for new ideas. Again, information is raw material for new ideas. That's what it is, y'all. Real talk, y'all. We live and direct. We need y'all support, y'all. Y'all make sure y'all touch down with us. The Triple C's are going down on an international level. International level, y'all. The Cubs are coming. The Cubs are coming. The Cubs here. My brother Gabriel, let me know what it is. We've been playing phone tag. Let me know what it is. You may have reached out to us. That phone number we gave you, the phone was down. Phone service was down, but it's back up. Let's get that confirmed. May 19th, Philadelphia. Down there. I know y'all do it big. We got to do it big. Malcolm X. Man, El Husband, El Shabazz, Norman Richmond, Vlad is shaky. Oh, no doubt about it. Yes, indeed. And that's again, I'm trying. I go step by step because it serves. Because it's pros and cons. This dude, he brings out contributions on individuals. You be like, whoa, these people open up. Like there's certain people that I've seen that were amongst, like even the Black Panther Party. We had a reunion, 43rd year, and not reunion, anniversary for the Black Panther Party in 43rd, and we were talking to members of the Black Panther Party, and it was like this whole secretive. I don't want to, well, I can't say this. Basic questions now, what I'm saying, and with the people there, and trying to find out so we can relate this to upcoming forces who just been had to suffice with petty bourgeoisie, white left revisionist history, and we want to take advantage of the opportunity we had. We was right there with people, and these were people that was in the Black Panther Party. Which I always make a distinction now. They were in the Black Panther Party, and they had this whole big thing is, I don't want to, what did you join the party? Blah, I really want to talk about that, blah. And lo and behold, a TV show come on like 2-3 days later. They explain they going through their DNA, who they telling about, this wasn't my father's, my sibling wasn't my father's child. They giving all type of information about the Black Panther Party. Saying, so whoa, so Vlad is able to get information, and in individuals, and it's been historical reality. I tell people, a lot of them cases you heard about Chicago, like all these great students from Northwestern University, they must be like Columbo or Kojak. They went back and researched. I said, no, it's not actually the case. You just get sense, a white person from any walk of life to anybody, and a lot of people open up like a flower blossom in June. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. I think I'm Marky Brown. I think you're giving an example like the spook who said the door. I think you're talking about like how they view the black people, like the janitor, the broom in his hand, was able to get in certain arenas. But you know what I'm saying? In a flip of the script, the Vlad or whatever, just I mean, he just I mean anything. You know what I'm saying? They open up, and just man, catch that man, and without any regards or framework to, you know what I'm saying, to what the dynamics is with this individual, you know what I'm saying? Again, everything's political. Wayne Clark in the building, get the Clark family. I was just talking about Wanda and everybody else and some forces the other day. Just speaking upon going down memory lane. Y'all share this, and I was in the show other day. So the uniquely connected show, China TV, and did this show the other day, and it really was brought to me again the impact of this social media. Um, so I was doing the interview, and so some guy called in. He said he was 36 years old, and he was saying something, um, he know this and that about the streets of Chicago, and he kept talking, and and then at the end, it kind of blew me. He was like, "Well, this you got to do." He was giving out these elementary things, this whole, the stereotypical how to stop the crime. You got the stuff that people say, well, like somebody walking up in your grandmama's kitchen, say you gotta get some flour and water first. You talking making, that's the first thing you talking about doing, cooking a cake. She's like, huh? I thought so what do I mean, basic, rudimentary, information. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't give it any life, but a sister called in right behind him. And she said, Chairman Fred is on the low, really, on the social media. He's coming along with it. But anyone that's out there in the community knows that and she get the name of all the different forces or whatever. She say that they out there in the community on the ground. And I was saying, and it's something of this time with like this whole social media, no distinction between public and private, and it's hard for me to move step by step with it. Like people say, put out, what's going on, what I'm saying, you're dealing with contradictions, so on and so forth. And it's so many individuals, they get it, they run it out, what I'm saying? So it's a different dynamic, but it was refreshing to have that sister, put that correction out there. Like, no, they out here doing the work, before social media even happened. Real talk. What do you feel about Mike that's right by? And enlighten me. Give red beard. If you can't, give me a little more information. You know what I'm saying on what on your question, please. Or if you feel if you're up to a call in, give me a little more details. Keon Johnson, I see you in the building. That's what it is. Free them all. Give me a little more. Give me a little more insight. Or I'm not hip. Give me like the basic line of what what they're saying. What is it derived from? And we go from there. Meantime, between time, y'all check in with us, come on in with us, 708-223-8953. We was moving and grooving yesterday, all day, you know what I'm saying? All day, all night, man. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. Y'all come on out this Saturday. Y'all reach out support. Save the Hampton House, a cash app. Okay, so Zanger. Okay, it's Caucasian. It's Caucasian propaganda. We don't know our enemy is what is ourselves. So your question, okay, it's Caucasian propaganda. We know our enemy is what is ourselves. Yeah. Okay. Now, is that the line that the might that you're referencing? And you asked me what's my position on what about do we know our enemy is what we are know ourselves? Help me out. A little more clarity on the question. Okay, I checked it out. So it's on YouTube in audiobook form. Okay. Fremont, driving, brother. Fremont, right back at you. Help me out. I need a little more clarity. I mean, should I check it out on YouTube first before I get back, or is it something I can answer in particular? A little more clarity. Yeah, what's the story with the who we at? What's the story with the armed pig stopping on that brother's head the other day? Just I'm thinking you referenced this case. Was that the case in Chicago? And it's something that I would have to ask that. I mean, just it's something that the type of society that we in that which can we say it's not it's not an aberration. It's happening. What I'm saying it's good that we even had these type of discussions because contrary to people saying this is something new, it's been happening. However, we've been told don't speak about it, but it's good. We have the dialogue, discussion, not only just discussion about it, but cats are moving on it. You know, so their response is happening to it. I think that's the case. In Chirac, that was a case that a lot on the west side, and this may be the case where the pigs had vamped down on some brothers and some brothers and sisters in the community. They demanded he be released. And you know what I'm saying? They came and vamped back down. I think that may be the same case you're speaking about on and you know what I'm saying? And it's a sign of the times where people and it's something that happened on the south side of Chicago too. You know, and the state is steady come with more and more of these uh attacks, these laws, bring repression on the community. It's getting more and more intense in Chirac, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, as well as Baltimore, other places, and it related with the gentrification, the land grab, and so many other different dynamics. They want us out of here one way or another. So, you know what I'm saying? On this war, it's waged on us. The police are the front line, you know what I'm saying? And the war has been waged on us. And so that case, I've missed that case in regards when they vamped down on brother in the community. The people said, no, let us get that. Let unleash him. You know what I'm saying? And it went down. I believe it's the same case you referenced to. Yeah. When you walked in, I see in the building, Klein, I see my brother, that's what it is. For them all, yo, we making history, taking history, taping history, y'all. That's what it is. Right on. So let me know, give me a heads up. We get any questions on this end, questions on the end. Let's do this. Let's get it out. You know what I'm saying? Because again, the Black Panther Party said information is raw material for new ideas. Y'all, again, we work on the studio over there at the Hampton House. We need y'all support, whatever you can to come through. Your time, your energy, so on and so forth. Whatever you can to come through with that. Come on with it. Come on with it. Real talk. Yo, call us in queue. We go, Ross, he line the caller. Excuse me. Free them all. Free them all. It's a couple more updates I want to touch down on. A few more things I want to touch down. So much has been happening. I want to touch on. It was something I want to touch down on. And we still working on a number of things. That movie reviews, we want to get that done. And some more different moves we still working on, y'all. So don't bear with us. Panther Cub with us. Don't bear with us. Panther Cub with us, y'all. Real talk. Free what we live and direct. Who we got in the building? Y'all know this. I'm getting got new to this Instagram thing, y'all. Real talk. I'm at Free Em All Radio on Instagram. Free underscore EM underscore all underscore radio. I think I'll change that back to Chairman Fred. You know what I'm saying? But I'm learning. You know, so we up and ante with it. We learning. We learning. So I think we touched on a number of different things. Okay, so we need give us a heads up. You want to I don't know how to do this. Do they call it DM or direct message or how that? What you wanna? Are you on Facebook? So hit me up or my emails are full, but hit me, inbox me, or is it cool? Put it on this. So let me know what's happening. Where we at? How can we assist? How can we serve? Let me know what we do. Let me know what needs to happen. What's going on? So either inbox us. In Chicago, or whoever, give me possibly get that your words to directly. Let me know how can we be of service? Let us know. Let us know. I got a few more funerals to attend tomorrow. It's back to back, and we don't want to become immune to it. As Asada Shakur is here. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Being oppressed, one has to be able to distinguish what's normal and what's abnormal with being oppressed. Cause we don't want to start just because, you know what I'm saying? We don't want to start taking this as normal, y'all. I mean, the daily death alone, I mean, it hurts. I'm talking about, back to back, y'all. I mean, back to back. The amount of casualties that we are subjected to is mind blowing. My sister, how you feel? My sister, good to see you in the building. That's what it is. Right on. Right on. Let me know how which is Instagram. Hit me up. Let me know what I can do. What we can do to be of service. Want to just, hey, I don't know, Sister Kim on the building. This was a long live Deputy Minister of Defense Bunchy Carter, long live Deputy Minister of Education John Huggins. Dig. Give a shout out to, you know what I'm saying? Shout out. Revolutionary Spirit. Please don't want you to have me to come over there. Okay, come on to the Hampton House. Feel free, come on through. Come on through. Kimberly Oldesby, right on. Oh, you live in Nigeria. Oh, okay. You be in the States? How we can? I mean, you coming to the States? Soon or what's I'm trying to get home. I'm trying to get back home or get touchdown home myself. But let me, you know what I'm saying? Are you should be in the States? Let us know that too. Yeah, definitely connect. Or we could do in the meantime, between time we do we can. You know what I'm saying? We got forces back at home too. We connect up. Yes, indeed. I'm clearing my email. I clear my email out. In the meantime, hit me up. I guess it's a way that you can inbox and a message. It's very bad. We're talking about Nigeria. Is it or let's set up something for you to call in to give us an update from on the ground. What's happening in Nigeria? Let's set something up. Let's set something up. Let's hit me up and let's see if I can get you on the show next week. And we we talk directly over the show. Let's work on that. Comrade stand in the building. That's what it is, y'all. Making history, taking history, and taping history, y'all. Free them all, comrade. It's indeed free them all. Big Brown. Big Wheel. Let's go. Right on. Right on. So okay, so we plugged in God. That's what it is. Okay. I'm ready. I'm ready to touch down. I'm ready. Let my feet the ground. Touch down home. You know what I'm saying? That's a major missing link. Again, I ain't made that actual connection touchdown. I definitely would love to make it happen. So let me know what I'm in the interest of full disclosure. Resources are an issue. Money is an issue. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? Hey, I'm got my identification, my face, ready to roll. Ready to roll. We got here. What plans? In regards to great actions, the organization has to address abuse and mental health, two issues that directly impact the comrades of our organization. Well, what plans we have to do? Okay, mental something. I just commented too. It's ironic. I just commented. I think about this quote. So I asked Mos Def about hip hop. He said, "What you see the status of hip hop?" And he say, "What's the status of society in general?" And I think about like people say, even the party, our predecessors, the Black Panther Party, gender contradiction, so on and so forth. And I say, you put it in context. I say, that whole climate, when Nixon, Pat Nixon, you know what I'm saying, the gender contradiction was going on at that time, you put it in context what was going on. I think the party did revolutionary leaps and bounds to the Black Panther Party. Fast forward to the day. I am learning so much about, I just mentioned about this impact of this social media. We have a process and the part of the Cubs that we deal with that I know it contends with a lot of people's like I say this, how they view everything as we put on social media, so on and so forth. And it's something, it's one of the missing things that we have, because a lot of first of all, there's nothing new under the sun. And a lot of contradictions we are able to relate to say, how did our predecessors deal with certain contradictions? This whole social engineering, this is added ingredient that it's hard to go back and say, well, in the party, how, you know what I'm saying, how do they deal with social media? How do people respond to, different stuff in public, so on and so forth? So this is a dynamic that we take into account. You know what I'm saying? But however, we do have a protocol, if that answers your question, or a protocol that is in process, and that we're dealing with, and I'm similar to I said to some forces like in the party, a lot of things that people took for granted, that people related to, like class contradictions, so on and so forth. I'm learning now different dynamics, like on how people, on like protocols that, stuff that, or a party line, so on and so forth. And one thing that we struggle for is to do it on our terms, because a lot of entities are afforded or allotted the opportunity to deal with contradiction. However, it's on states' terms, and that's a major core of our that's what distinguishes us. It's kind of similar like to as Minister UEP News said, what makes the party's gun different from the pig's gun? You know what I'm saying? And it was people said, what they had the party, they had leather jackets, they had this and that. And I met people who were in the party who to this day still cannot even relate what made the party stand out. And it's something that, and a lot of people say, like, no, I'm like, even people say, well, I'm doing this and I'm doing this. So it's all the same. And at the end of the day, like, with contradictions, people say, well, somebody say, well, what was the issue with such organizations as the Black Panther Party were wiped out? People say, well, they had gender contradictions. You say, well, Nation of Islam didn't have them. The Christian Bloods didn't have them. Stone Disciples, they didn't have them. And the deal is that the party to be that fight of that precious entity of self-determination, to be able to deal with contradictions on their own terms. And that's one of the unique dynamics that if legacy cares is the part, if to compromise that major dynamic, it's kind of like grandma in the Black community, grandma passed a recipe down, and she say this particular thing is something that's different than our hamburger's different than McDonald's, makes it different than Burger King. How this burger was made, and at some point in time, people say, well, that's not happening no more, and then people say, well, let's just compromise on how it's dealt with this time. You know what I'm saying? For this, you know what I'm saying? And say, well, no, check a resume, because it's something that this is sustained through prison, through attacks, and through, you know what I'm saying, internal, external, you name it. But the way that core of that, you know what I'm saying, and at the same time not being so stuck, they say, okay, now open, you know what I'm saying, say, okay, you take, you know what I'm saying, take in, because again, it's ever developing. However, but the core of it, of how, you know what I'm saying, how it deals with weaponry, how it deals with education. Like people say, well, the Panthers should deal more about the culture. They did. In fact, they had a minister of culture, but it was a different dynamic. In fact, it was some members in the culture cadre had to be cut off from even engaging in activities with other forces, because it was a different line how they view culture. It's a different way. And I'm acknowledging that, because it was unpopular. It was unpopular, you know what I'm saying, to deal with certain contradictions, you know what I'm saying, how the party dealt with it. But it's something that it makes us stick out, I'm about to call in, press 1. Oh, right on. Okay, be on the heads up for that. I don't know the area code you calling from, but press 1, no doubt about it. So look for that call, and call in about Sri Lanka, that update. Oh, okay, right on. Free them all. How many content? Free them all. Right. Okay, right on. Yeah. You're live. You're live. I'm gonna follow this. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Okay, go. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yes, sir. So, just want to get the people updated about the situation. I know it's been in the news a lot. You know what I'm saying, with the incident that happened on Sunday, this past Sunday in Sri Lanka. You know what I'm saying? I think the death tolls now, as we put on the flyer, up to like 350. You know what I'm saying? People that were killed in these bombings and stuff. You know what I'm saying?
How many people were? What's the estimate?
I believe it was 354.
Okay.
They're still finding, you know, body parts and
body parts and dead bodies. These are the type of issues that we are spending. That the main, you know what I'm saying, that I know we hear these numbers, a lot of times people become stoic about it, but these are the major type of contradictions. I mean, life and death that is happening, you know what I'm saying, all over the world, you know what I'm saying? The mental health, the physical death, the mental health, the physical death, the carnage that's happening, you know what I'm saying, that we definitely want y'all to, you know what I'm saying, hear this in a way that the mainstream media is not going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Again, we have forces that are directly. One of the things another thing we pride ourselves on is we have forces who are directly. You know what I'm saying? That I mean, literally, we talk about these different cases. Kiara Coles who's missing. We talk about this we had in Sri Lanka. We are fortunate to have forces, you know what I'm saying, who are on the ground, connected or involved in it, and who are willing to, even if they bring a personal testimony, you know what I'm saying, about these different contradictions, they say, okay, take it, digest it, and provide the political assessment. You know what I'm saying? So we're fortunate with that. So go ahead, we'll proceed, comrade.
Yes, sir. So one of the things that was tough, you know, like you mentioned, you know, the personal connections. A lot of my family are part of that Christian minority group in Sri Lanka. So in the island itself, about 22 million people. It's about 70% Buddhist, about 15% Hindu, and then 10% Muslim, and about 8% Christian or Catholic. I mean, which really is a result of European colonialism, which I think is very important to point out that in 1505 the Portuguese arrived and occupied and colonized Sri Lanka, and then in 1658 the Dutch arrived. They fought with the Portuguese to control it, and then they controlled the island from 1658 to 1759, and then the British came and controlled it until 1948. So that's 500 years of three different European colonial occupations. You know what I'm saying? And that the divisions that were created amongst the indigenous people, amongst the Sri Lankan different ethnic and religious groups, you know what I'm saying? The divisions were really exacerbated and really manipulated during those 500 years. And a lot of times we get caught up forgetting this recent history. Like, we're just coming off of 500 years. I mean, that's, you know what I'm saying, 5 centuries worth of straight exploitation, direct, you know what I mean, slavery, colonization all over the world, Africa, to Latin America, you know what I mean? And so that's part of it. And so on Sunday itself, you know, for us it was tough because a lot of my family, you know what I mean, is out there and stuff. And so they actually shut down, the government shut down the social media in general and parts of the internet. So you couldn't get on WhatsApp, you couldn't get on Facebook, and that's how I communicate, you know what I mean, with my grandparents, aunties, uncles, cousins, and whatnot. And so a lot of my family was scrambling, trying to get a hold of folks, not knowing, you know what I mean, if they were part of the victims. It turned out we had a few family friends, I believe 2 or 4 family friends who were killed in the bombing, none direct families, but families of friends, you know what I'm saying, of my family.
What other than and not to devalue or take away the physical toll, what other type of, you know, what other type of impact are you hearing that's happening there in Sri Lanka? What other type of impact is happening there?
The main thing I'm hearing is the Muslim communities, you know what I mean, are being harassed and by the state itself. I've heard from people, Muslim families, that, you know, state, first the police come to visit them and the army comes to visit them, you know what I mean? And it's really interesting because during the 30-year civil war in Sri Lanka was 1983 to 2009, it was a civil war. And the main groups that were fighting were the Hindus fighting the Buddhists, you know what I'm saying? And during that time, the Christians and the Muslims were kind of not even involved in the war at all, besides for being victims of it. And so now, ever since the war ended in 2009, the Sinhalese Buddhist extremists, you know what I mean? We got to be clear about that. People think of Buddhism as like this kind of ideal religion, but if you're Sri Lankan, you know, or if you're familiar with that island, you know the history. Buddhism has been used as a political tool to oppress religious minorities for ever since independence in Sri Lanka. So it's been the Buddhists, the extreme Buddhists, the same ones that are committing genocide against the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar or Burma. They've actually hooked up with the priests out there in Sri Lanka. And so a lot of tension, especially a lot of nerves around the Muslim communities because this, the so-called Islamic state or whatever, we call them Daesh. We don't even acknowledge no Islamic state. There's no ISIS in my opinion. You know what I mean? But they took credit for it and tried to say that this is a retaliation for the white supremacist New Zealand mosque shooting in Christchurch or whatever. But that doesn't make no sense at all. You know what I mean? But the state of Sri Lanka is using it as an excuse to now further their harassment and their mistreatment of the Muslim minority in Sri Lanka.
What's I just asked you earlier. It was some issue. On fly. Okay, this. I'm curious, like the phenomenons in the States. Whether it be the days in jazz, so on and so forth. With hip hop, is it okay? How on the scratch that. Even with the organizing here, is it a recognition of some of the on the ground contradictions that are happening in the state? Is that is there resistance to or is there acknowledgement of, what prior to this, like a lot of people, this is their first time, even hear about what happened in Sri Lanka. But what's the climate, what's the political climate like in regards to organizing, in regards to phenomena such as hip? It's going to be the climate prior to this as well as now.
I would say post-war, again, 83 to 2009, that's 27 years of the Civil War, right? Once the war ended, there was some optimism, that now that this country could develop, because, it's still considered a so-called third world developing nation, however you want to say it, post-colonial, So there was a lot of hope, a lot of optimism that real reconciliation could take place and that the different minority groups will be able to kind of express themselves freely and whatnot. And, but unfortunately, we have some real corrupt politicians, the wicked politicians that really, they don't care about anything for supporting, the ruling elite that they are and the capitalist worldwide agenda, you know what I'm saying? And so even, like you saw the flyer, I had this song called Sri Lanka, which I just made to state my position about how post-war Sri Lanka should look like. And it was about justice and about unity and healing, you know what I'm saying? And, the government actually banned it from the radio when it was the #1 requested song. They sent, army and militia to the producers of my video shoot and shut down the video and whatnot, you know what I mean? So now, with this latest incident, what I'm hearing a lot is there's a lot of fear, again, a fear on the part of the minorities, and really a lot of this rhetoric of defeating terrorism. And that was part of the issue after the war is the president who also was almost trying to pull a coup, you know what I'm saying, a few months back too, which is important to note. He really took a position to where they wanted to ignore the war altogether. They wanted to erase 27 years of history and just act like we defeated terrorism, quote unquote terrorism. So therefore, you know what I mean, we can't be criticized. And so now these same political forces, the same ones that banned my song or whatnot, are now out there saying, see, we should have been tougher on the terrorists or whatever. You know what I mean? But part of the other contradiction is the prime minister and the president, they don't speak because they attempted the coup and then, he was put back in power. So apparently there were warnings. You even had some of the Muslim communities in the eastern part of the island protesting against this group and warning different people and entities were warned about a possible attack taking place.
Comrade. Right, comrade. Hey, right on. We're gonna definitely follow up. We got to round up on it right now. But however, I'm respectfully want to say, man, I appreciate it. We want to follow up on this ASAP. Give us some contact information real quick, comrade. You know what I'm saying? So we can contact information ASAP if you can.
Yeah, no doubt. So I mean, you can always reach me at RASCEY. The former colonized name of Tremont. You know what I mean?
Right on. We want. Motherfucker, go ahead.
No, just say you hit me up there. We also have a Facebook page called Heal Lanka, the movement. So if you want to learn about that, you can hashtag Heal Lanka and just check it out. You know what I mean? And I would say don't believe in none of what you hear, half of what you see. You know what I'm saying? So like what you're hearing about even the media, the way they report it, don't always trust that. You know what I'm saying? Search and then research. You know what I mean?
Right on.
Struggle worldwide from Chirac to all.
We gonna have you back on follow up on this, comrade. Revolutionary love, appreciation. Right on. We're going to touch back with y'all again. Right on.
Much love to all the comrades in Chirac. We had a time out there a couple weeks ago, man.
Okay.
All day.
Right on. Yeah, come on back. Revolution Love Appreciation. We're going to follow up on this here. All right, y'all. It's same time, same station, y'all. We're going to tune in with y'all again. Come on back and club with us again, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Let's make history, take history, y'all. What's the call? Free them all. Say the Hampton House, y'all. Real talk. Free them all.